All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. All right, in this particular video, we're going to be touching on the negotiations that's happening right now between the United States and Israel. Now, if you ain't know, Donald Trump and his delegation is having talks with Iran for a nuclear deal. Now, in Trump's first term, he backed out of the nuclear deal because he believed that it was making Iran rich and there really wasn't anything in it for the United States. But he finds himself making a nuclear deal 2.0 because now Iran has enriched uranium to 60%, and it only takes 90% enriched uranium to create nuclear weapons. As a matter of fact, it said that they can create a nuclear weapon in 2 weeks if they wanted to. So now it's either they bomb Iran's nuclear sites, and Iran said that they're going to start bombing back, and Russia and China is going to come in the defense of Iran. So that's like war. Or they make a nuclear deal. So right now they having nuclear talks. All right? And they not going so good. All right? Iran has a red line that they don't want it to be crossed. They said they'll talk about how much uranium they can enrich, but they will not stop their nuclear program. They're not going to detonate their sites and blow their sites up and stop the enrichment of uranium. They're not. Now, on the other hand, you have America and Israel saying that they have to give up their nuclear program. They cannot enrich uranium no more. This is what they want. Now, that's a red line for Iran. So what does this mean? This means them nuclear talks is dead, man. They just wasting a bunch of time right now. Those talks are going nowhere. All right? Now, the video that I'm going to play, you're going to see it. Like, they say that they're not going to stop their nuclear program. Now, there can be conversations about how much uranium they can enrich, but as far as getting rid of it totally, no. And that's what the other side wants. Now, you have Israel saying what? They don't really care what's going on between Iran and America, that little deal. If that deal that they make isn't up to what they want, up to the standards that they want, guess what? Then they gonna bomb their nuclear sites. You see that? And Iran said, you know what? If they hit us, then we gonna hit them back 10 times because the days of hit and run is over. So we got some things happening right now, man. And don't forget, Russia and China is backing Iran up. Russia came out and said what? That if they bomb Iran's nuclear sites, that there's going to be consequences in the Middle East. It's going to be trouble over there, man. Now, that's Ezekiel 38 jumping off of the page, because Ezekiel 38 says what? How God, which is Russia, is going to be a guard to these little nations, like Iran. And we can see them being a guard right now. So that's prophecy jumping off of the page, man. Now, America is doing all this in the defense of Israel because, you know, you got Iran. They chant death to Israel and death to America. And they're in active war right now with Israel. So if they get their hands on some nuclear weapons, what do you think they're going to do? Because they talk about Israel being erased and how Israel should disappear. So if they get their hands on nuclear weapons, you know what they're going to do with them, right? So, hey, now you see how detrimental these talks are for the United States and Israel. And then you got Israel saying, man, look, if them talks don't go right how they want it to, then they going in and they bombing them, huh? All right? So, I wanted to bring out a precept. Yeah, Jeremiah 50 and 45. You know the famous precept, the least of the flock drawing them out. Because we can see that America coming in the defense of Israel. All right, as a matter of fact, let's get that. It's Jeremiah 50:45 when we read, therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, that's America, and its purposes, that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock is Amalek, shall draw them out, that them is America, out to what? War. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And we're seeing America being dragged into this war. All right. And Israel came out with a headline saying America's not being drugged into this war. It's going to lead it. It's almost like they was making a response to the Israelites, man. They said America's not going to be drugged into the war. It's going to lead it. No, it is being drugged into that war. All right. Don't forget, the Houthis is already, the Houthis is a proxy group of Iran. They're already bombing shit over there, and America's coming in the defense of Israel. So they're combating the Houthis and the rest of the proxy groups of Iran. Now we're seeing, because of Israel, America about to get drugged into this third world war because of Iran is close to having a nuclear weapon. So nice try, Israel, saying that America's not being drugged into it. Well, the scripture says he is going to be drugged into it, and that's the case. All right. So hey, these talks really not going nowhere. This is the fourth round of talks happening, and who knows? It might be a fifth, sixth, but the talking got to stop sometime. All right, and both of them are preparing for war on both sides. So hey, look at that. All right, and let's not forget what Iran's leader said. This was some years ago. He said that we're closer to you than you think. And that he was alluding to sleeper cells over here. And there's plenty of people already came out and said, yes, there are Iranian sleeper cells already here in America, mobilizing to do possibly a terrorist attack, man. You know what? And that reminds me of 2nd Ezra. Let's grab it. 15, and I believe 33. Right. Let me highlight that real quick. Yeah. All right, this 2nd Ezra 15:33, and we read, and from the land of the Assyrians, this is talking about America right here, shall the enemy besiege them. So somehow it could be Iranian sleeper cell, one of these Ishmaelite groups, gain access to America. Somehow they're going to gain access to America. Now, if you remember, earlier last year, the borders was wide open under Biden. All right, when Biden was the president, the borders was wide open, and they were coming on the news saying that they don't know who is over here in America. But you had people hitting the ground like citizens, and they were recording them. Chinese standing in parade rest with rucksacks on, all standing in a line, looking like military coming in through the border. Not just that, it was a Iranian-looking dude that said, "Real soon you're gonna know me." Because you had an Edomite saying that he just wants to come over here and freeload. And he was like, nah, I'm not one of those people. And real soon you're going to know me. This is right on camera, man. So, hey, the border was wide open. So the information already came out. There's sleeper cells over here already. All right, so let's bring that back. And from the land of the Assyrians, America, shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. A big T attack. All right. Now it could be a simultaneous T attack, and like in different major cities across the United States, everything happens at once. Big terrorist attack. Hey, well, that'll shut America down, man. Donald Trump will fuck around and implement martial law ASAP and lock America down if some shit happen like that. You see, it's just and consume some of them. So hey, they're gonna kill people over here, man. It says, and their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Man, right? It's going to shake America up. It says strife among their kings. The rulers over here, the president, so forth, on down is going to be looking like, oh shit, they're going to be scrambling, figuring out what to do. This could be a road. Well, all roads lead to the MOTB, but they can bring in an MOTB like that, man. Shut everything down. Implement martial law and the Insurrection Act. Insurrection Act is a lot of people can't be gathered up, no protesting. So that'd be it for camp. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna play this video. Wait, did I finish that? Yeah. Somebody about to park next to me and be nosy soon. Let me get on the road.
And will push us for unilateral actions in response.
Jerusalem's top diplomat went on to address the threats emanating from the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Iran is the most dangerous state in the world. Its extremist regime spreads terrorism through its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. The most dangerous regime must not be allowed to obtain the world's most dangerous weapon. Its uranium enrichment facilities must be dismantled. Iran must be prevented from obtaining.
You see? And that's a red line of Iran. They're saying that you're going to see it. So I keep going over it and reiterating it again, and again. So it hits you. Like that talk is dead. And the only thing after that is war. All right, these talks are the last, straw. All right?
Nuclear weapons.
It is important to note that the US and Iranian delegations held a fourth round of nuclear talks in the Sultanate of Oman yesterday, during the course of which the wide-ranging gaps between the positions of Washington and Tehran were amplified. Ahead of the talks and in
Salakia, I had said that they only had 3 rounds of talks. They had 4. Salakia.
Exclusive interview to the American-based Breitbart News, White House Chief Negotiator Steve Witkoff expressed the Trump administration's red line.
That's our red line. No enrichment. That means dismantlement. It means no weaponization. And it means that Natanz, Fordo, and Esfahan, those are their 3 enrichment facilities, have to be dismantled.
President Trump's envoy went on to tell Breitbart News that the Ayatollah regime had claimed that it did not want a nuclear weapon.
If that's how they feel, then their enrichment facilities have to be dismantled. They cannot have centrifuges. They have to downblend all of their fuel that they have there, send it to a faraway place, and they have to convert to a civil program if they want to run a civil program.
Despite the negotiations, Steve Witkoff emphasized that the Islamic Republic of Iran did not have a choice on the matter unless it was willing to test President Trump, which he emphasized would be an unwise thing to do. Meanwhile, following the fourth round of negotiations in Oman, the Ayatollah regime's top diplomat, Abbas Araghchi, acknowledged that the talks were more serious and straightforward.
میتونم عرض کنم که نسبت به 3 دور گذشته
You see, the talks becoming more candid, more straightforward. That's letting you know that the talks is almost over. Well, both sides is basically like, yo, cut the bullshit. Hey, this is what I want. They're like, oh, this is what I want. Oh, we ain't doing that. Well, that's what we want. So where do you end up at? Come on.
I can state that compared to the previous 3 rounds, the negotiations were much more serious and straightforward. We have now moved significantly away from general frameworks and entered into more specific issues. We can now say that both sides have a better understanding of each other's positions. Many of the main points of disagreement have now been more thoroughly discussed. Their dimensions have been further clarified. There is now a better mutual understanding, and the positions have somewhat come closer. I can state that.
Araghchi continued by expressing the Ayatollah regime's dismay over the public statements that were made by U.S. officials, noting that they had demanded that those statements would stop immediately.
Unfortunately, we are hearing contradictory and opposing positions from the American side, especially in the media and public sphere, which do not help the negotiation process at all. Today, one of the topics we discussed was precisely this issue, that such an approach is not in the interest of the negotiations and must be corrected.
The Iranian foreign minister went on to express the Ayatollah regime's unequivocal position that enrichment is non-negotiable.
از نظر ما غنیسازی
From our point of view, enrichment is an issue that must definitely continue, and there is absolutely no room for compromise there. Its dimensions, scale, level, or amount might be subject to certain limitations, for confidence-building purposes, for instance, as was done in the past. But the principle of enrichment itself is simply non-negotiable. The same...
You see that? You just saw America say what? Their red line is what? They gotta dismantle their nuclear program, and an enrichment has to stop. Now you're seeing Iran say what? The enrichment, getting them to stop enriching uranium, that's non-negotiable. Now, if you want to talk about how much they can enrich, they'll talk to you about that, but getting rid of the thing completely, no. That's not going down. So what are they talking about? Come on.
Goes for the issue of sanctions. What we mean by negotiations, and what we intend from the negotiations, is naturally the lifting of sanctions, which under any circumstances remains one of the fundamental pillars of our negotiating position.
Meanwhile, in Tehran,
Death, death to America. Death, death to America. Death, death to Israel. Death, death to Israel.
They saying that right when they're having these talks. Come on, man. America moving all the doctors, MREs over there, moving B-2 stealth bombers over there. Ships and shit is being deployed over there. I heard special forces is in Iran and in Israel right now. United States Special Forces. Come on, man. These talks, man, it's dead. That's why China had to come out and warn the United States. They say if you move over there in the Middle East, then they're going to openly back Iran up. Salakia, I'm driving out here. These people can't drive, you know. As soon as you try to do a video, that camera cut on, here comes Satan, man. But yeah, look, they screaming death, death to Israel, death, death to America. And they call America Big Satan and Israel Little Satan. So they don't want them to have capability to create nuclear weapons. And there's also information that came out that Iran has secret nuclear sites. And they may have nuclear weapons already. Hey man, this thing is heating up. But let me finish this out and I'm gonna close out.
the Islamic Republic's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei claimed that despite Israel's show of force against Iran's regional proxies and other Islamist terror groups, the state of Israel will ultimately disappear.
The falsehood is making a show for a few days, putting itself on display, but it is bound to disappear. It will certainly disappear. There is no doubt about that. These appearances we are witnessing now, the actions they are taking and the advances they are making in Syria or elsewhere, are not signs of strength, but signs of weakness, and Allah willing, they will lead to even greater weakness.
Hey, well, that's it. Hope that was edifying. That was just a quick news update of what's going down over there in the Middle East, Iran and America, with these talks. Hey, it's dead, man. We're swiftly approaching some exciting times. But anyway, I hope it was edifying. Hope you can take something away from it. Salakia for being a little distracted. I'm driving. You know, you gotta keep your head on a swivel out here. You know, Satan be in the midst. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.